Hi guys, welcome back to Gearjunkies TV and a new video. Today we're going to take a quick look at the Elektron Digitakt. So today we got the Elektron Digitakt here in the studio just for a day, and honestly I've never played it with it before. I do have an analog rhythm, so I thought today's video would be about how quickly you can do something with a device like this. Maybe known to some, Elektron is quite notorious for its user interface, but personally I've always liked to work with the analog rhythm, and since this is a family member, I hope it will be something similar. First, what is the Elektron Digitakt? It's a sample-based drum computer. In contrast to the analog rhythm, which also has an analog drum synthesizer built in, this one just plays samples. And there are various ways you can get these samples in here. It does have a recording function, so you can use the inputs to record your own samples and then process them inside the machine. And there's also a possibility to transfer samples via MIDI and via USB MIDI. And for that, Elektron has developed a little utility called Transfer. I just downloaded that and put it on my computer, and I loaded 16 samples of a Lin 9000 drum computer from the 80s. And surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, the Digitakt was instantly recognized and I could transfer them into the Digitakt. That's where the fun begins, because like many of the other Elektron machines, the Digitakt has a plus drive, which you could see as a built-in external hard disk. So before you can actually use these samples, you have to import them from this plus drive into your project. I've created an empty project, and I found out that by using some of the menus and go to samples, you can explore the directories. And when I go to the directory that was created by the transfer utility here, and I press yes, I can see all my samples are here. Then I can select them like this and then load to project. I've already done that in this case, so I won't do it again. Then they sort of get loaded into your project, and then they are separate from the plus drive. And if you would store the project now, it would store the samples alongside. So if you recall it later, it will just load the samples that have been imported already. There are, I think, 256 free sample slots, but today we're only gonna use 16 at the most, because there are 16 tracks on the Digitakt, and they have been pre-labeled with some names, but of course you can load whatever you want in there in terms of samples. And let's go over the menus really quickly. With a track, you can select one of the 16 tracks. I've selected the first one at the moment. You can move through them like this. And you can see that some of the tracks have already been assigned a sample, others have not. So in this case, I've selected track 1, and then with these 5 buttons here, you have the various menus. So first there's the trigger menu. You can set all sorts of parameters here, how the actual drum sample is being triggered when you play a pattern. Source. This is about the use of the sample, and like all the electrons, these 2 rows of 4 correspond to these 2 rows of 4 encoders. And by turning the encoder, you can select in this case the drum sample that you want to use. I've selected bass drum 4 from the LIN, and if I would confirm that by pressing this, it would be directly loaded. I've already done that, so it's there. And let's see if we have any sound. Yeah, we do. Then in this menu you have a tuning parameter like this, play direction, forward, reverse, looped, etc, etc. Then there's a bit reduction parameter here, as you can hear. Start, length and loop. These determine the start, length and whether the sample is looped. And a nice thing is if you press source a second time, you see the waveform of the sample that you have just selected, which is nice, because with this menu you can more accurately set the start, length, etc. Then there's the filter menu. So each track has its own filter, and it sounds like this. Now it's set to a low pass. You can select the type here and whether you want to use the envelope of the filter. Over to the amp menu. Here we see the actual envelope being displayed with attack, sustain, attack, decay, hold and sustain. On the bottom row you can see the various effects that you can send the sample to. So if I would display it and press it will sort of do a send to the delay. Same with reverb. And there's a panning, and this parameter is an overdrive. So it will sort of harmonically distort the sound a bit and make it louder. And then there's a double LFO. By pressing it once or twice you can select either one of them. LFO has various waveforms, and there's a depth, a negative depth and a positive depth, and there's a destination. So you can set here what the actual LFO will do to the sample, and this can be quite intense sometimes. If you would, for instance, change the tuning, it would go all over the place, but sometimes that's what you want. So I've already put the bass drum here. Let's go to the next track. I've set the LIN side stick here. Next track, it's the cowbell. Next track, it's the clap. And it sounds like it doesn't exactly start on one. So let's see how that looks. Yeah, you can see here that the start is not where the actual sample begins. So I will adjust that. By setting it probably around here. Now you can hear that it triggers instantly when you press the track button. Okay, let's go to track 5. This is not one of the LIN samples, I think, so I'll just select one of those. What do we have here? Hide, closed and open. I will save those for the next 2 tracks. Actually, I will just try to follow what the text says here and put the cowbell here. We'll have to select something different here for the tom then. So go back to this one, and let's see if I also imported a tom. Yeah, more than one actually. Okay, let's do it like this. There's just the clap, cowbell. We need a closed hi-hat here, so let's check that. LIN. Where is it? Where is it? I think I've already skipped it. LIN close. Yep. And then we take the open here. I have to do something with the tuning, I think, in a minute, but let's go to the next bank as well. Oh, and here we have something I haven't seen before. I don't exactly know what this means. Oh, wait, of course there are 8 tracks, so the bottom row is supposed to be, this is a MIDI sequencer, so you can, besides triggering the internal sounds, you have 8 tracks that control a MIDI connected module or a computer or whatever you want. So I was mistaken, there are 16 tracks, but 8 of them controlled the internal samples. So, okay, no problem. Let's try to make a simple pattern. So if I press play, you hear there's already something there. I've pressed the record button, then do a track select, and then you can see what it actually plays. It plays a snare on the 5 and 13. Let's see, there's a tom here. Let's kill that for now. No. Okay. I think this is not the snare. Let's see if I can find a snare. Don't seem to have one. So let's leave it at side stick. That's fine. Okay, now, well, let's do some manipulations with the sounds to make them sound a bit more alive and more different than from the original. Okay, this is nice. Let's see if I can set a bit of reverb here. Okay. Maybe the kick needs a bit more bite, so let's check that out. We have the overdrive, of course, so let's see what that does. Yeah, okay. Maybe detune it a little bit more. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have? Let's play the cowbell, and maybe we can this time just program it on the fly. I think that's it's working like this. Now it's blinking, which means I can just press any track button to add the sound. Let's see. Okay, that was not very well timed, but we have a quantize button, so let's see how that works. Quantize. Track 5, okay. I don't know exactly how this works. So that's too bad. Doesn't seem to. Well, this is something that you have when you start playing around with something. Apparently the quantize is working differently than I expected. Yeah, don't know what to do with that. Anyway, let's just get rid of this. Okay, let's go on and maybe edit this cowbell a little bit too. Maybe it would be nice to add a little LFO to the tuning. Let's see how that goes. With destination and tuning, yes. And add a little more depth. And we can adjust the speed. Maybe do a sine wave. Maybe add a little reverb maybe. Okay, let's move on to the next sound. Take the closed hi-hat. And take the open hi-hat. Something's off with the timing, I think, from the closed hi-hat. Let's see how that sample looks. Looks okay actually. This sounds better. Maybe detune it a bit. And we'll do something similar to the open hi-hat. Let's see. Maybe do a little delay on the closed hi-hat. And by the way, you can, I think, influence both effect parameters by pressing function, and then we see what the delay is actually doing. Timing. Pong. Feedback, obviously, and you can also send it to the reverb like this. Let's check the reverb. You can set it a bit longer. Yeah, like this. Maybe add a little pre-delay. Okay, now what else do we have? The cymbal, which is not yet the Lindrum sample that I have here. Let's take the Kabasa, why not? Yeah. This is way off, so we have to adjust the start point here. Okay, let's see if we can program that. Do something with the filtering. Maybe put an LFO on the filter. Let's see, filter, frequency, and depth. Let's see how the filter is set. Maybe some resonance. There we go. Maybe check out the cowbell again. Maybe give it a little, not as loud. And maybe do some delay. So there you go, a basic pattern made with imported samples from my Lin 9000 on an Elektron Digitakt. Of course, there's much more to explore about this machine, and there are many elaborate videos about that on the internet already, so I won't do that here. I just wanted to get a quick impression of what it does and how it sounds and how quickly you can go forward with it. And I must say, it's very similar to other Elektron machines that I've used, except I can't seem to figure out the quantize function without possibly consulting the manual then. I could save this project as well with these buttons here, and to quickly sum up some other things. There's a mute mode, so if you would play the pattern and go into mute mode, you can just kill one or more tracks that you want. This can be useful for live performances, of course, so bring things back. Oh, we don't have a clap yet, so let's program that. I have to go out of this, and then, yeah, let's see, drag, clap. Yeah, very nice. Let's see if I can do something strange here with, yeah, that could be set to address to an LFO, bit reduction, and let's, doesn't seem to do anything, but we have to maybe do something with the filter as well. Okay, like this. Let's see if we can save this project. Press yes. Save project as. No, you can just rename it here. I think this is how this works with Elektron machines. So yeah, like this. Okay, and press yes, and there we go. So that's now it has saved the whole project. Of course, you can also do something with patterns, save them separately, load them back, etc. You can make the pattern longer, up to 4 times the length that I've used here. And then there's all kinds of stuff like micro timing, retriggering. You can, of course, record parameters. In fact, maybe I can quickly show you. Okay, let's see if we can record this. I think you have to set something different in order for that to work, but maybe for some other time. Well, that's it for today. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our videos if you want to see all of it in the future. Thank you. See you next time.